What's happening, party people? What's happening? I'm your host with the most, Mr. Ron, and yes, welcome to another episode of 40 Years of Hip Hop. Well, we review 1,000 songs over the span of 40 years from 1979 to 2019. And party people, today we will be reviewing Po Folks by Nappy Roots featuring Anthony Hamilton, from the album Watermelon, Chicken and Grits, which was released in 2002. And party people, make sure you check out our Mixcloud page so that you can check out all of the best music that we got. So that's right, party people. Finally, we're giving it to you. All of the music that we're reviewing, you will be able to listen to it. That's right, party people. And don't forget to check out our Mixcloud. Yes, it's live. It's on. We basically got all of the good music that we're reviewing for you and more. We got some top fives. We got some mixtape and much, much, much more is coming. That's right, party people. So, like I was saying, Nappy Roots featuring Anthony Hamilton. But party people, before we get into it, let's take a look at Mr. Ron's week. That's right, party people, and it is with sadness that I have to tell you that another young man, another young rapper died with gun violence. There was a young Dolph dies at the age of 36 in a shooting in Memphis, Tennessee. And wow, I just cannot believe all of that gun violence. I have to tell you that gun violence is at an all-time high. Even in Montreal, party people, even in the northern parts of the world, gun violence is really becoming an issue. To the point where the Montreal police had to dedicate a squad strictly for gun violence, which is basically related to gangs. And I have to tell you people, my answer, better gun control. So in Canada, it's not so bad, okay? I have to say, like in Canada, you can't buy a gun at Walmart, okay? And Canada is actually making efforts to have better gun control. USA, what are you doing? I have to say that I'm not really impressed with the USA with their gun control laws. It's way too easy to be able to get a gun. And also I find that the United States is a country based on violence. Don't forget, there's the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Do we still need that in our day and age? In 2021? This was something that was written, in the 1800s? Is that still valid nowadays? If we weigh the positive and the negative of guns I'm just going to say in North America, okay, Canada, United States, you can see that there's way more negative points than positive. Anyways, man, that's just the way I see it. That's just the way I see it. Better gun control everywhere. Canada, the US, and there's some countries, even the police don't have guns. And it just makes getting a gun, when you make getting a firearm so difficult, then you know what? The gun violence is gonna go down. Anyways, man. Sad situation. So rest in peace to young Dolph, who, still at the age of 36 is not so young, Too soon? Okay. So party people, what have I been listening to this week? So I have to say that I actually, I was listening to Nipsey Hussle, his album, Victory Lap. Yeah, so being older, my time frame is not the same as 20-year-old. Okay, example for me, I find that Nipsey is still fairly new. Okay, even though he passed away in 2018, and of course I heard a lot of Nipsey, but when the album came out, it was just one that I missed, you know. And but wow, I really enjoyed the album. Again, like staying true to that West Coast sound. And yeah, so that's what mostly I've been listening to this week. And I have to say, the track of the week, party people, is something that is totally on the left field. Is Bad Bad Not Good. Okay, so Bad Bad Not Good is a Canadian jazz band. Okay, they actually did an incredible album with Ghostface Killah from The Woo, you know, and their track Talk Meaning, definitely track of the week, and definitely I'll try to put it on the compilations on, of course, our Mixcloud at Mixcloud Forever Hip Hop, because you know it, party people, you know it. So come back next week, because party people, the G-Man will be reviewing Me and My Girlfriend by Tupac Machiavelli. Okay, and good track. I'm not sure I would have picked that one, you know, but definitely, you know, of course Pac needs to be up in here, you know, and so I support that. I support it 100%. So why did I choose this song? So now let's get back as we're returning to Nappy Roots, Poe Folks, from the album Watermelon Chicken and Grits from 2002. So why did I choose this song? Well, around 2002, you know, after the year 2000, I noticed hip hop was changing. Okay, what I mean by that is now you're starting to see people who had no voice who are coming out with a voice. And again, I'm talking about the South. You know, so the South is starting, you know, slowly, and little did the whole hip hop community know that the South was gonna rule for like the next decade. Hence Nappy Roots. And of course, so now within that turn of events from the year 2000, the South are emerging. Also, I noticed that hip hop is becoming more and more club friendly. Okay, and Nappy Roots, they are not that, but they're from the South. Okay, and I totally took notice of them. And so, is this song original? And if so, how? Like I was just telling you, party people, the 2000s were all about club-friendly tracks. Bling and fast women. Fast women, yes. You know, yeah, fast women. I could say hoes. I could, but you know, I'm a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? I watch how I speak. You know? Anyways. And these guys, you know, Nappy Roots, they come about and they're rapping about the struggles of the everyday man. Not only that, but the struggles of country people, because they're from Kentucky. I didn't even know Kentucky had a hip hop scene, you know, in the year 2000. So I really enjoyed their point of view, from the fact that they're coming from a less, I would say, glamorous city. And I think that their point of view was totally original. You know, the twist that they added to their music was totally original. So just to situate you guys a little bit, just like a few other rappers from that year. So we're talking about like 50, Missy, Eminem, Nas was making his comeback, Scarface dropped The Fix, which was actually one of my favorite Face albums. And not only that, but the underground hip hop scene was getting healthier and healthier because of the internet. And you had like people that like Blackalicious, Mr. Lift, Jurassic 5, Nonfiction, just to name a few just like that on the top of my head, that were getting decent exposure things like before, without the internet, it wouldn't have happened. And this is at the time that you can see, oh, you know what, this is actually becoming quite useful for people that don't have a strong voice as like, you know, commercial hip hop. So fun fact for the people, when Nappy Roots were on the come up, no one took them seriously as soon as they found out that they were from Kentucky. It was a struggle. And I understand that. You know, I totally understand that point of view. And courtesy of this card for the people, and this is why, for originality, I give it a 4 on 5. 4 on 5. Delivery, which stands up for lyrics and flow. So quotable. So rough, it was downright wrong, I tell ya. Nobody ever gave us nothing, though time and made us something. Different stretch of road, knew something to see. Every state on the map, a different something to eat. Very humble lyrics, you know. So let's break it down. So rough, it was downright wrong, I tell ya. Nobody gave us nothing but tough time and made us something. So so the meaning is the fact that they were so poor and faced so much adversity shaped them to be who they are. They did not get a free ride. You know, everything that they had to work hard for it, you know, which showed you, you know, you can feel the struggle in their voices. Different stretch of road, knew something to see. Every state on the map, a different something to eat. So of course they're referring to state to state, how like, you know, different states have different flavors. And what I mean by flavors is, you know, like I live in Montreal and I could drive to New York and New York's gonna have its own flavor. The same thing that I could drive to Philly and, you know, Philly's gonna have its own flavor. You know, the Windy City is gonna have its own flavor. And they're all like, you know, Jersey, you know, Jersey don't feel like Philly, you know, and Jersey don't feel like New York, you know. So, of course, different from state to state. And for the people, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I actually took a road trip. Me and my college friends, we drove from actually Montreal to Miami and then Miami to LA. A trip that, you know, we actually it took us the whole summer to do that. And it was incredible to see each time you cross a state and it is totally different. Now, being like a guy from the city, you know, I'm in Montreal, you know, I got like mad family in New York. There's like all of these like middle states, you know, the infamous Midwest that I've actually never got to visit. And some places, I remember it's like time stood still from like the 50s, you know. Hence, I'm going back to the Nappy Roots lyrics where they say, every state on the map, a different something to eat, you know, different flavors. Courtesy of Genius.com, and this is why Party People for lyrics, I give it a 3.5. For the reason, yeah, you know, the lyrics are interesting, original. However, flow-wise, nothing comes out really. You know, like I cannot, so there are 3 rappers, and I'm like, none of them really like stood out. You know, no one really, I felt from my point of view, I really liked them as an ensemble, as a group. However, when you look at them individually, they should not go solo. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, production, party people. Production, which consists of beat, mixing, scratching, engineering. So, it starts with a bluesy, soulful guitar riff, then the kick hits, then the snare contrasts the kick, then I'll blend it with some strings, and to soften it everything, to give it like a little bit of a melancholic vibe, you know, and all that is looped with a solid hook sang by Anthony Hamilton on the vocals. Now, for those that don't know Anthony Hamilton, now that's an R&B singer, you know. And Anthony Hamilton got his break because he was a backup vocal for D'Angelo. And as soon as he was able to branch out on his own. So, produced by Track Boys and Mike Karen. So, I'm not super familiar with Track Boys. They did do actually a few solid hits. Of course, Southern hits like Tipsy by Jaquan, Air Force One by Nelly. But after 2005, not much came out of the Track Boys. Then you have Mike Karen. He actually did Hell of a Life by Kanye West. I Love College by Asher Roth. And Let It Roll by Flo Rida. Asher Roth, oh my god. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Courtesy of WhoSampled.com, and this is why I give it a 3.75.5. A good beat, it's a good beat. I do like the soulful feel, and also there's a little bit of a sadness with the guitar riff. Also, it still remains a loop, and you know how like Mr. Ron likes complexity in his beats, and for these reasons, I will give him a 3.75 on 5. Alright, so party people, it's time for another top chicken, ficky 5. So party people, here's my top 5 2002 albums, and of course, in no particular order. So I will start with Clips, Lord Willing. So for all those that don't know, this was Pusha T and his twin brother Malice. Great album. Many hits came out. Some club hits, some street shit, hardcore, Some other tracks were more lyrical. Just a great album. I listen to it on the regular. This is like an album that I've carried with me since 2002. Scarface with The Fix. I was always a huge Scarface fan. However, I find that sometimes his production could be a little southern, yeah. For the longest time, Mike Dean, who is like a great producer for Rap A Lot, did a lot of beats for Scarface. However, for The Fix, I find just the fact that he had again, I'm not saying that Mike Dean is not an A1 producer, but he got producers like the Neptunes, and that's just the first one that came into my head. It actually gave it another vibe, and I totally enjoyed this album. Godson by Nas, that of course after the whole ether, Jay versus Nas, I really love this album, totally love Godson. That was a good follow-up to a comeback. The Blueprint by Jay, of course. It's like you can't have one without the other, It's like one is peanut butter and the other one is jelly, They hate each other, but they also love each other, And you can mix them quite easily. Nas and Jay, peanut butter and jelly. And for number 5, I'm going to go with Quality by Talib Kweli. By the way, for those that don't know, Talib Kweli is definitely one of my top 5 MCs, best MCs of all time. I know I'm going to get a lot of people mad, but yo, it's my show. I get to choose. That's right. So party people, this is the top 5 2002 best albums, okay? So, before we get back into the review here at 40 Years of Hip Hop, we use Buzzsprout for our podcast. They get your show listed on every podcast platform available. We were able to get 10,000 downloads with it. No, wait, 20,000 downloads because we crossed over 20,000 downloads within like a year, maybe like a year and a half. And as Buzzsprout members, you will get a great looking podcast platform, an audio player that you can drop into any websites, even WordPress templates. You will also benefit from a detailed analytics and tools to promote your episode, like an audio video snippet of your podcast called sound bites. However, for me, my thing is that I get to generate a second revenue by talking about something that I'm passionate about. Think about it. Are you a fan of something? You must be a fan. There has to be something that you're a fan of. Yeah, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah. Think about it. Podcast about it. All it takes is a little bit of work, a little commitment, and boom, you have yourself a second revenue. Not only that, but again, you don't need, there's no contract, you can cancel at any time, there are no hidden fees, and after you basically complete your second invoice, Buzzsprout will actually give you a $20 Amazon gift certificate, So, of course, links in our episode notes below, and for the people, Buzzsprout is the way to go. And now, let's get back to the review. So, is this song still relevant? Was it able to stand the test of time? And if so, how? Well, the way I see it, it's a song from 2002. It's gonna be 20 years old. For me, it's an old song, but it's one of those that kind of like always remain or stay in my head. I would not qualify it as a classic, but it's also not a song that is forgotten, even though not a lot of people are rolling down with Nappy Roots, and I can see that with their measly 25.5 thousand followers. However, the video, folk did get 26 million reviews, so that's fair. That's fair. And my man, Just Jamming reacted to it, so that's good. And this is why, party people, I give it a 3.75 on 5. It's not a classic, it's not current, but it's also not forgotten. It's not a track that you're gonna go, oh yeah, even though some people might. Anyways, party people, powerful impact, boom from the cannon. Was this song impactful? Well, I'll tell you, party people, this song impacted me, like I said, because in the year now, again, I'm from the 90s, right? So when I'm seeing like around like 2000, I'm seeing like a lot of the production is becoming a little more club friendly. Samples are not being used they're not being used, which actually makes me think that like I was saying, for the production, there is no sample, okay? And that's a new trend from the year 2000. So that's one thing that the year 2000 brought to hip-hop culture. It's the fact that, you know what? We no longer have to make a beat with a sample. We could just create the beat from scratch, which is an idea that, as for me, okay, as simple as it may be, I was like, oh yeah, it's true. We don't absolutely need a sample. And again, if the beat is dope, the beat is dope. And of course, I'm not for just like omitting all of the old ways. Absolutely not. The same way I'm not for, well, you know what? It was done like that 20 years ago. Well, it should stay like that. Absolutely not. There's always constant progress. Okay. So that's why for me, it doesn't really bother me. Okay. And the song impacted me because, like I was saying, year 2000, a lot of like club-friendly hits. The music is switching. Every year it gets more and more, I would say, synthetic. Okay, keyboard heavy, less samples, less real instruments. And here comes Nappy Roots, and they basically added a bluesy, folksy. I mean, like, the brothers are from Kentucky, for the love of God. You know what I'm saying? Kentucky. I can't name you a rapper from Kentucky besides these guys. And that's the beauty of it. Because of, I find like there are people that paved the way, that opened hip hop to different sub-genres. So, did it chart? Yes, it did. And it actually did quite well. US Billboard Hot 100 charted at number 21. The US Hot R&B and Hip Hop Song Billboard at number 13. And the Billboard US Hot Rap Songs at number 10. And the Billboard US Rhythmic was at number 14. Of course, at the year-end chart, the song was in number 64. So, still not bad. Okay, still not bad. And this is why for the people I give it a 3.5 on 5. It charted. That's cool. It wasn't a number one, and it doesn't need to be. You know, it doesn't need to be. However, what I like is when a song that should be on the Billboard is. There are songs that I feel that sometimes they were written to be popular. Okay, they were written to be hip hop. Okay, and some songs they were just so good that they basically charted. Okay, and I believe that Poe Folks is one of those. It's one of those songs that it was so good that it charted. And for this reason this is why I give it a 3.5 on 5. Alright, party people, so let's take a look. So for Originality, I give it a 4 on 5. Okay, definitely an original track. The fact that they're a little more soulful, the beat is a little more, I would say, country-ish, soul-ish, bluesy-ish, you know, but it definitely brought a different vibe to hip-hop music in the early 2000s. Delivery, lyrics, and flow, I give it a 3.5. Cool lyrics, nothing memorable. I like the fact that, you know, these guys are really humble, you know. It's not about, like, they're not talking about, like, glitz and glamour, you know. They're talking about everyday people with, you know, everyday stories, and it was good. It was a good change of pace, I thought. Production 3.75 on 5. Cool beat, you know. I like the whole I would say country aspect of it, but it is a loop, okay. And you know how I like my beats with a little more complexity. Relevance and longevity 3.75. It's not a forgotten track, but it's also not a track that everyone is humming. It is 20-some years old. And impact, I gave it a 3.5. I mean, like, the song did chart. It wasn't a number one. It did chart, so it deserves a 3.5. For a grand total, party people, so for a grand total of 14.75 on 25, and which is a 59%. Okay, so not fantastic. So let me double check that. That's right, party people, for a 59%. So party people, thank you for sharing this moment together. Subscribe, like, share, and party people, support 40 years of hip hop by buying us a coffee so that we can continue dropping this amazing weekly podcast. Tune in next week, as I will be reviewing MCs Act Like They Don't Know by the Blastmaster KRS-One. Party people, this is your host with the most, Mr. Ron, wishing you happy Honolulu. Peace, and I'm out.